Are we muted or are we good? The microphone is muted. Hey Harry, how you doing?
Turn it off on your phone.
I'm good. Who's this?
It's Preston.
Oh, hey, Preston.
Give me your phone.
Start it off.
How's it going?
Doing good. How's things going with y'all?
So. Had back surgery again back in December. Now I'm going back to the hospital tonight so they can go back in tomorrow because I have an infection in my back.
Well, that's no good. Hopefully they get that deal lined out for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Me too, man. Thanks. Hey, Leslie.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. I'm just waiting on one more board member to join and then we can get started.
It sounds good. How's everyone doing?
Doing great.
Hello, Leslie.
Hi, Harry. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
Likewise, trying to stay warm with this up and down weather and trying to stay out the hospital. Everyone's catching the flu, it appears.
Yeah, it's going around, unfortunately.
I know. Okay, Mr.
Hey, Crystal.
Eager Beaver.
So make sure you have everybody. Amy said she's jumping on too, so we'll give her half a second to get in and then we can go and get started. This should be a pretty quick meeting. Amy said she's logging on, so we'll just give her a second before we get started. You doing alright, Crystal? You doing alright, everybody?
I'm doing great.
You're doing well, George. It's looking awesome.
That's good.
So can y'all tell us what kind of amendment you're wanting to make to the quorum requirements, or are y'all going to discuss that with us?
Yeah, I'm going to run through the changes here once we have the board all on and they can start the meeting.
And do we get to have a discussion about that before everybody votes on it?
The item is a board vote, so if you have some questions, you can ask them, but the vote is up to the board for this particular style of amendment.
Yeah, I've got questions I'd like to ask about it.
Yeah, if you've got some questions, we can let you ask your questions.
Okay.
So why does the whole group not get to vote?
Or Are we ready to ask questions, or are we still waiting on somebody?
They're waiting on people.
We're waiting for one of the board members right now.
Okay.
Wish I had some music to play or something so we weren't just sitting here in silence. Haven't quite figured that out yet.
Oh, it's just great to look at all of our lovely neighbors, you know?
Tell you what, we'll give Amy 1 or 2 more minutes, and she doesn't pop on. We'll just go ahead and get started because it is 6 o'clock.
How many board members do we currently have?
Currently, 4 out of 5.
4. I mean, so the HOA has 5 total board members,
Supposed to have
5 seats, yes.
and only 4 out of 5 seats are filled right this second.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're supposed to have an odd number so that you can break a tie.
Right.
Yeah, it's usually an odd number. Most places don't have even numbers.
Right. Hey, who's speaking? Is this George speaking?
Yes,
Okay.
I got the packet up on the screen, so you just have to stare at my team's profile picture. Maybe just accept
hey,
the
George,
invite, so we'll give her a second.
George, has our board members, have they been voted on, or have they just been appointed by friends?
All the current board members that I'm aware of I guess Leslie was appointed, was it in March? The other 3 were elected at the transition meeting.
At the transmission? Oh, okay. That was like the first meeting ever. So
That was the meeting where the developer passed the association to the board.
okay, so they were appointed. There wasn't a vote.
As far as I'm aware, there was a vote, wasn't there?
Yes, there was a vote. There were ballots that went out to all the neighbors in the form of an email and also mail. And neighbors, residents voted, and the votes were counted. And the notification was sent out in January of last year.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't get the emails. Hey, Crystal,
Sign up for the portal.
yeah, I'm a part of that portal, and the only, I'm sure.
Check your junk mail. Mine comes to the junk mail every time.
I check my junk mail, and the only one that gets it here at my house is my wife.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You might just be that your email communication preferences turned off.
I've addressed this with you before, George.
Yeah, I think we talked about it.
Yeah.
Forever. Okay.
Hey, are we ready to start? I mean, because we haven't even.
Yeah, no, Amy just jumped on. So, we'll get started. Crystal, you want to call the meeting to order?
Okay. Meeting is called to order at 6:04 p.m.
I'm going to run through the amendment real quick. So, this will be the first amendment to the first amendment to the bylaws for Dove Creek. The way our documents are laid out, certain items can be amended by the board. Certain items need to be amended by the homeowners. Any changes to the declaration would need to be amended by the homeowners, but the bylaws can be amended by the board. This change is being made. The actual quorum requirement itself is not being adjusted. It's 10% for the original documents, so the change is leaving it at 10%. The only change is that if the quorum is not met at the meeting, then the meeting can be recalled and hosted same day. Members present will constitute a quorum. So 10% for y'all ends up being 36, 37. So if we get, let's just say, for example, 20 people, we come to the meeting, only 20 people show up, we can close the meeting, we can recall it with members present being quorum. Purpose of that would basically just be to review financials and host the election. This wouldn't change any other quorum requirements, so if there was a change to any other adjacent document or some other thing need to happen, those would still be the quorum requirements for those individual items. This is just for hosting the annual meeting so that the election can happen and so that the financials can be reviewed and any other business at the annual meeting needs to be held can be held with a quorum of owners. So no real change other than just that owners present can attend, and this just that's the only change that's being made. So homeowners board. Do you guys have any questions about this? I know we kind of briefly discussed it in the email, so if there's anything that you wanted to make mention of now or any questions you had.
No, sir.
Okay, cool. So my understanding, we already talked about this in emails. The board's ready to approve this individual item already.
Can we discuss this a little bit, George? I want to make sure everybody's clear on this.
Hold on, Preston. So, board, do you want to host the vote, or do you want to take questions before you guys do the vote?
I'm good with taking questions.
Okay.
I agree with Harry. We can take questions.
Okay. So, questions from the owners. Preston seems like you've got one.
Yeah.
So I guess
So-
we'll know that first since you spoke up.
Okay. So why is the board asking for changes to quorum requirements? Why are we asking for this? Are we just trying to make it to where you can make it to where if you don't get the number of votes today at 3 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, you can have another meeting?
So the way this is, like I said, this isn't changing. Let's say if there was going to be another special assessment, or the board was going to buy something, or they were going to change documents to say you could paint your house purple. This isn't affecting that. This is 100% just, can we host the meeting so that the board members can be elected to the board? That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. And
That's the only significant piece of business that this will be affecting, is just whether or not the election can be held with less than 37 members present at the annual meeting.
okay, yeah. And let me ask all the board members this.
Let me speak on that real quick before we ask another question, Preston. So back in December when we had the ballots that went out for 2 new board members and also the annual meeting in December, if I'm not mistaken, George, we had 12 members total at that meeting, so therefore a quorum was not met at 37. And
You fell short quite a bit.
And, you know, that seems to be the MO of these quarterly meetings. We might have 7 members show up on that meeting. So rather than to keep having to postpone, talking with legal, this was something that could be done, so that way business can proceed with the annual meeting. And again, like I said, the 2 board members that were up for election can take place.
Okay.
I hope that clarifies it with you, Preston.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Has the board tried any other alternative ways of getting people involved in the HOA meetings? You've got me sitting here saying, hey, I don't even get the invites. I've checked my junk mail. I've done all this. We're wanting to change the standards to operate business. Have we tried anything to try to get people involved?
So 2 things. One, the annual meeting notices are mailed to the individual residents. I know we had some signs made. But third thing, again, you know, this I guess if you're concerned about if people are attending the meetings or not, as far as I'm aware, the issue we're having is not necessarily that people aren't receiving things, because folks send in questions. Or meetings has been just sort of steadily declining over the last few years, just kind of across the board. And this provision is not particularly uncommon. A lot of places have it for the exact reason that y'all are facing. It's just that a lot of folks just don't want to come. And you'll get a small contingent that always want to come to the meetings. But, you know, I've got some associations that are as many houses as y'all, and the initial quorum requirement is, 30%. Mm-hmm. So you have to get 100 folks to show up to the meeting. And a lot of places it's just not feasible. So if the concern is, if additional steps are being taken, yes, there's signs that we send out, mailed notices to the annual meetings, but in terms of impact,
and where exactly?
This isn't y'all's first annual meeting.
Right. Where are these signs placed at in our neighborhood? I mean, I drive through it and I work here, I live here. I've yet to see any signs, George.
Well, board, I guess Crystal's been posted near the mailboxes. Or Crystal, did you post the signs for the most recent meeting? I guess I never asked.
Well, no, I haven't. I didn't post anything for this last meeting because I've been home with pneumonia.
Oh, right. Sorry about that.
Been outside, period.
Have you posted any meetings? 'Cause I've yet to see any, Crystal.
Well, I will say, didn't you say that your wife has been getting the email notices?
Yeah, but she's saying she's posting them at mailboxes and we bought signs and this. I've yet to see any signs. That's what I'm asking. is I'm trying to see if we have
But
people
I
involved.
get your question. The thing I'm asking is what I guess what response are you looking for in terms of the quorum amendment?
Well, I just asked your question. I'm waiting on your answer, George.
Kristen, did you post anything prior to this meeting, like let's say the last quarterly meeting or the annual meeting? Was there anything put out there?
We don't have it. We don't have anything to post that says, "Hey, we're having a meeting." We have the for people to sign up for the portal, and those have been put out, and then we've had to pick them back up. And actually, has been this working on trying to figure out a way to keep them to stay in place.
Okay.
Well, the biggest issue is I don't always see those emails as they come through, because I'm sure, like everyone else, your email gets pretty full of junk that just comes on the daily. So if I'm not checking my personal email consistently, then I don't see those. I have to go digging for them. So that was why we were asking if there's any alternative ways to find out about meetings, because if I missed the email, that was our only source of information on it.
I do know one change we've made this year is the board put together an annual calendar in January that we're going to post rather than sending the meeting notices as they go out. But again,
And we haven't done that yet, right, George?
well, no. But again, the question I'm wondering is, let's say we take these additional provisions, the changes to the bylaws don't make much of a change for that, because the quorum for board meetings is still majority of board members, and the quorum for any of the changes that need to be made hasn't been changed. So in terms of impact,
Yeah, you just want to make it to where you can talk about the financials of our neighborhood without the neighborhood being present. Am I understanding that
we want
right?
to make sure that the elections can be held, because if y'all don't get a quorum and you're never able to hold an election,
Right.
then you're never able to elect board members. And let's say we did want to talk about the finances and there wasn't 10% of the members present. Again, in terms of impact, no decisions are made at the annual meeting. So if your concern is that the finances are being discussed without 10% of the members there, I guess my question
It's
would
not
be,
necessarily
what's the impact you're hoping to avoid there?
the decisions being made at the annual meeting. The annual meeting is a huge decision, because that is when you elect who is going to make all the decisions for the remainder of the year. So that is an extremely important meeting, because here we just got finished with a huge election, and we all know how elections can turn things. So whoever is put in office or in power is the one who controls the decisions throughout the remainder of the term that they serve. So that's why I think he's asking those questions, because it is a huge responsibility to have a quorum at that meeting, so that we can make sure that we get everybody's voices heard, and not just, hey, we've got 5 people and we re-elected a brand new board with, my best friend here.
Yeah. Has the board, how are they letting the community know that they actually have board openings? Because I just found out.
So we sent out a candidate nomination form.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Well, if you're not getting your mail, that's a different problem.
It goes through the email, so it would be very important for all homeowners to make checking their email a priority if they would like to get the information.
Hey, Crystal, let me speak, George.
I have 4 different emails that I have to check, so it's kind of a priority of, the board members cannot walk to each door and knock on the doors and tell them.
Why not?
Things are mailed and things are emailed.
Okay, Crystal, and I agree with you 100% that it's our responsibility to keep up with our emails. But I have reached out to George. I've reached out to the management company twice, asking them to
emails.
And they both times they said, well, you need to update your information. I've updated it twice. Okay, I've got recordings of that, Crystal. Now
I want to pause.
Unless you have some suggestions you'd like to throw out.
Yes, I do.
I'd like us to go ahead and move on past this.
That's what I was going to say. I think is the answer that's being given, not sufficient, or if your objection is just that you think that the amendment's not a good idea, we can note your objection.
Well, you can note my objection. Yeah, I don't think
I
that
object.
I don't think that this community does not need to give 4 individuals any more power without oversight. Because, and I'll give you my reasons why. Is the HOA a nonprofit? Is it a nonprofit?
Say not for profit.
Yes. Okay. However, the management company, are you a for-profit company?
We are, but I'm not sure what the end result of this is going to be.
It looks to me this is how you end up with the fox watching the hen house. You have a for-profit. You have 4 members that don't want any oversight. You have 4 members that don't want
to
over.
make any decisions for the association. We're just
Right.
monitoring.
And this deal has started. I've seen the decisions that's been made. George, we've talked about water sprinklers going off right down the road. And
Preston, I'm going to stop you.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That's not the purpose of this meeting. We're going to
vote.
yeah, y'all go ahead and vote.
We're going to move on to the board vote.
I make a motion we approve this amendment.
I second the motion.
Very motion, Crystal seconds. Leslie, Amy, is abstaining or dissenting votes?
No, I'm in favor. I motion to move forward.
All right, I got a unanimous vote to approve the amendment. So this amendment will be filed with the county by our attorneys. We'll send a copy out to the residents, and we'll post a copy online for everybody to see. And then I'll talk to the board about how they want to proceed with the 2024 annual meeting to make sure that gets rescheduled since we didn't get a quorum with the last one. And we'll send out notices for that meeting whenever it ends up being scheduled for. Board, any other items or questions you had about this particular? Any other homeowners on the call who had questions other than the gates?
This is Trevor. What is the new quorum now?
So the quorum is remaining at 10%. We just have the option that if the meeting needs to be held without it, it can be held with members present. So if there's 25 instead of 30, we can hold it with 25 to do the board election.
Understood. Thank you.
You bet. Have you help?
So George, I want to say something. In 2023, somebody's got.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry. I'll take care of it. There we go.
In 2023, I don't know, about October or whatever it was, a notice went out from the property management in regards to the HOA being turned over to the residents. And out of all of our residents, only, I believe, 4 put their names in the hat to be on the board. So they had to resend the letter because they needed 5, and then only 7 showed up to put their hat to be on the board. So out of all the residents and all the talk on the Facebook page of how they hated the previous HOA and the way the developer ran it and everything else, we still only got 7 people interested in being on the HOA. So up until at the end of this last year, we had 5 board members. 1 resigned in November, so now that position was going to be up, and then we also had another position was up. So we have 3 board members currently where our term doesn't end until the end of this year. So then there will be 3 more that will be posted out there for people that want to run to get on the board. So, it's participation, and we've got a big community, but very low participation. And even when I, ran a local union, we were lucky to get 3% of the membership show up to a meeting. And this is a problem people have all across the United States with different organizations, whether it's an HOA or any type of an association. So, participation is what we need. And, we only get 1 notification for this house, even though, my wife is here on it and me. So hopefully, emails are checked on a regular basis. And I believe this year they're going to have a calendar that is going to try to have set dates for the quarterly meeting And of course, things can get tweaked according to schedules, but, hey, we send out the notifications the best we can. The Dove Creek Facebook page is not an HOA ran page. It's ran by residents and was formed by residents. And us as residents,
How you put your hand up?
realize saying, hey, there's a meeting coming up, don't forget, or whatever the case may be. So all we're asking for is involvement.
Hey, George, or not George, but Harry, let me ask you a question. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hold on one second?
No, I'm talking.
Well, somebody else has their hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't see a hand.
Yeah, well, that's what you typically do.
Yeah, there's a hand icon that
Your
comes
hand
up.
up.
All right, where would that? I'm sorry. I'm new to these meetings. I appreciate y'all being so helpful, Harry. Crystal, carry on. Y'all do what you've got to do. Let me put my hand up. Do you see my hand now?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Okay, great.
Felicia, what's on your mind?
So I have a question. We want participation. And I try to participate. I have a really hard time getting on here at 6 o'clock because if I have to travel to get, I work downtown and not be able to get on. And I want to be involved. I want to know what's going on. But will we ever have in-person meetings? Because I think you might get more participation if we had in-person meetings.
I don't know that there's been a particular objection to them, so it may be in the future. That's up to the board if they want to go that direction. But there hasn't been
A clubhouse, we would have to rent a facility to have it in person.
I think the library downtown is free, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can rent a room.
Am I getting to talk now?
Oh, I forgot.
So anyway, so Felicia, I don't know that there's been a specific objection to it, but I think the board can take that under consideration. I don't think there's any.
Okay, and then also, I was gonna ask, did we ever consider changing from 6 to 6:30?
Also up to the board if they want to move it. Personally, for my counter, that works fine. So if the board wants to go that direction, they can.
Thank you.
You bet. And Karen, water usage is managed by the landscaper. They manage our sprinkler system. There was a lot of water used in the latter half of the year. They were establishing some new plants, and I think Kevin got a little carried away. So that number the board was aware of that number, but it was higher than expected. All right. So, Preston, I'm going to say you can answer your question, but if it's not related to the amendment, then I'd like us to maybe take that off so we can close the meeting out. But do you have a question about the amendment specifically?
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Y'all have already voted on the amendment, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay, because Felicia's question wasn't had anything to do about the amendment. It had to do about 6:30. I'm just looking for my chance to talk here. My next question here would be: when did the HOA company or the property management company quit vetting everybody on the Dove Creek page? Everybody in this neighborhood was under the assumption that was a homeowner's page. They even have it. Y'all even have it out that if you want to be a part of this page, you have to call the you have to be vetted through the HOA. That was a part of the page. When did we quit doing that?
So as far as I'm aware, the association's Facebook page has never been managed by the management company.
Oh,
we have a Connect portal, which is a different thing.
I will send you a screenshot of what was on the Facebook page. They changed it, but I just want to know when and why that change was made.
Again, I'm not aware that a change was made, so if you want to send me a screenshot of what you're saying.
There was a homeowner that created the Facebook page back, I believe.
7 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it has nothing.
It said you had to be vetted by the property management company, Crystal. I've got the screenshot of it.
Well, then please send us.
Oh, we will.
Here's the thing, even if you've got a screenshot, I mean, I don't manage y'all's Facebook page, so if that was sent previously at some point in the last 7 or 8 years, then so be it. But
And I think those homeowners that created the page was trying to make it to where it was residents only, and not get all these people wanting to get your air ducts cleaned or selling their product. And so they wanted to, I believe they wanted to make sure that they were actually residents of Dove Creek.
Right.
Had nothing to do with the HOA or the property management.
Okay, because right after me and Madam President had our disagreement on Facebook, then they changed the rules. Right then, they went and started telling everybody that. Madam President, I really don't appreciate what you did to my kids either. Okay, Harry, I don't appreciate you coming over telling me to fuck myself.
Preston, again, not
Listen,
the
you can
meeting.
talk about me coming to your house, but I just came to your house because you came to mine knocking on my door, so I went over.
Hey,
Yeah, I asked you to come by.
stop.
I didn't appreciate I didn't appreciate the way you handled yourself as a board member, Harry.
Everybody stop.
Oh, I was muted. Look at that.
This meeting is not going to devolve into back and forth about unrelated topics. The meeting was for the purpose of passing the bylaw amendment. Bylaw amendment's been passed. We have some residents ask questions. I'm going to go ahead and say that we're done with the meeting. Crystal, would you mind adjourning the meeting for me?
This meeting is adjourned at 6:27.
All right. Thank you, everybody.